So you learned how to determine the forage supply at the Cottonwood Creek Ranch. Let's look at the animal forage demand for the Cottonwood Creek Ranch. In past videos, we looked at 300 cows and 10 bulls, and we determined that they were about 1.5 animal unit equivalents for the cow-calf pairs. Well, the Cottonwood Creek Ranch is grazing those cow-calf pairs for, let's say, 9 months during the year. Are they going to have calves on those cows for all 9 months? No. Only part of the year they're going to have a calf on them. So they're not always going to be that 1.5 animal unit equivalent. When they're a dry cow, they're only weighing 1,200 pounds. So they're a 1.2 animal unit equivalent. So if they're dry cows part of the year and have a calf by their side the other part of the year, let's just average those together and say it's about 1.35 animal unit equivalents for the entire year for those cows that were running on the Cottonwood Creek Ranch. And if you remember, the bulls were 2 animal unit equivalents, and so nothing changes there. We're running bulls all year round on the ranch, and so we just leave that the same. They're 2 animal unit equivalents. So let's look at a spreadsheet that helps you do the math for you.
So we're looking at the spreadsheet at the Cottonwood Creek Ranch, and we said that there were 300 cow-calf pairs for part of the year, and then the other part of the year they were dry cows weighing 1,200 pounds, so their animal unit equivalent was 1.35. We multiply that by 9 months that they're out there grazing, and we get a total animal unit month demand of 3,645 for those cows on the Cottonwood Creek Ranch. And then for the bulls, the math is simple. We have 10 bulls, animal unit equivalent of 2, running them for 9 months, and multiply that together and you get an animal unit month demand of 180 for the bulls. Our total animal unit month demand is 3,825 for the Cottonwood Creek Ranch. So now that we have our animal unit demand, it's time to compare that to our forage supply on the Cottonwood Creek Ranch. So now we've determined the forage supply and the forage demand of the Cottonwood Creek Ranch. And let's take a look to see whether we're understocked or overstocked on the ranch. So just to rehash, our total forage supply for the Cottonwood Creek Ranch was 3,974 AUMs, and our forage demand was 3,825 AUMs. So just subtracting the demand from the supply, we get a difference of 149 AUMs. So you can see that the ranch is slightly understocked according to our estimates. But it's important to remember that, again, we are just making estimates of our how many animal units we can run on this ranch. It could differ depending on the year, amount of precipitation that we get, the timing of that precipitation, temperature during the growing season. Several of these factors can impact the amount of forage supply that we would have on our ranch. So it's important to remember that. So now that we've walked through this example on the Cottonwood Creek Ranch, it's time for you to start entering in your numbers on your own ranch and trying to determine or estimate your forage supply and what your forage demand is on your own place.